guys, welcome back to my channel and a very Merry Christmas from me to you. This year, for the festive season, my mum has made me a very special advent calendar, and so this year my theme for my whole advent calendar is weird and wacky flavours of crisps. In this video it's going to be all of the days of advent that I get and like a little review of each of the different flavours because some of them are really weird, so yeah, hope you enjoy. Our day one flavour, pickle. As you can see, I've already opened these and tasted a couple. They are delish. They smell like quite strongly of pickles, which is so weird, but they don't taste as vinegary and strong as I would have thought. Like, compared to the smell, they are more mild than you would expect, definitely. Very interesting for day one, definitely. I think I would give these a solid 7 out of 10. They do taste good and they do taste like pickles, but I was kind of hoping for more of a vinegary sort of tang, like a proper pickle, do you know what I mean? So yeah, that is our day one crisp. Day two of our crisp advent calendar, and it is cheddar and spiced onion chutney. Now, I've not tried these yet, so I'm gonna open them and we'll give them a go. This is what they're looking like. Pretty standard. Definitely getting the onion chutney. I made some of my own a couple months ago and it smells exactly like that, so I don't think this can go any wrong, quite frankly. Hopefully, at least. Let's grab one. Again, very heavy on the onion chutney. I can't really smell much of that like stereotypical cheesy smell, but yeah. Right, let's give it a go. You can definitely taste the hints of cheese, but that onion chutney is definitely the forerunner of the flavour, and that's not a complaint at all. They are delish. I do wish there was a bit more of that cheese though. I'm a cheesy kind of gal. Quite good, I'd say. Let's give these a rating, shall we? I'm thinking 5.5 out of 10, I think, for these. If there was more of that cheesy flavour, I'd definitely bump it up, but I think 5.5 is a pretty good score as well. So yeah. Day 3 of what I'm now officially calling Crispmas, and today's flavour is camembert. Now, I am a cheesy kind of girl. I love a camembert, I love a brie, anything like that I love, so I'm very excited for these. So let's not waste any time and let's get on with it. Put them open. They smell exactly like camembert. They're so cheesy. I'm so excited. Okay, I love camembert. I love cheesy crisps. Anything cheesy I really like, so I'm very excited. They are a ridged crisp today. Wow, even on their own they still smell so cheesy. That is crazy. Let's go. Wow, that is camembert to a T. Guys, I think this is going to have to be our first 10 out of 10. These are amazing. They taste like a melted camembert that is like on like just a plain piece of bread, you know. So far, our best flavour. By far, by miles, honestly. Camembert flavour crisps, our first 10 out of 10. Who would have guessed it? Day 4 of our crisp advent calendar, and today's flavour, turkey roast dinner. I'm not sure how to feel about this one, guys. I'm a bit worried, but I'm hopeful too. I'm hopeful, I'm worried. We're gonna get into these. Let's go. First impressions, they smell pretty good. They are giving the roast chicken-y kind of ones. Now, these say that they are with fragrant rosemary and thyme. I'm getting a bit of rosemary, but like only like a little hint. It's not super dominating flavour, which is kind of expected, to be fair. It's not a super strong flavour, but it's quite a fragrant flavour. So it's surprising that you can't smell it as much in these, but they smell pretty good. So let's try. They're okay. They taste like cheaper roast chicken crisp. Tastes quite mild. They're not super flavourful. You do get a hint of it like towards the end. Honestly, in the front, they don't taste like a lot. I don't know if it's just I can't pick a certain flavour out or what. I can't really find any of that like turkey roast sort of flavour other than like a roast chicken. By the smell, I would have thought they would have tasted a bit stronger like roast chicken. They definitely smell a lot like what you would think of when you think of a roast turkey sort of crisp, but they don't taste like it much. And for that reason, I think I'm gonna have to give them, honestly, a 3 out of 10. It's just not executed as good as it could be. Kind of disappointing, honestly, but what can you say? On to day 5. Day 5, and today's flavour is cheddar jalapeno. I am very excited. I love spicy. I love cheese. Surely it's got to be a good combo. Let's get into it. They look a bit more plain. Surprising. Expecting maybe like an orangey dusty sort of, but who knows? Could be delish still. Probably will be. Very excited. Wow, yes, these smell good. They smell like nachos with melted cheese and jalapenos. These are gonna be good. I just know it. These are gonna be amazing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Ruffly again. Love a little ruffle. Okay, let's go. Wow. You can really taste the jalapeno in those. I am so pleasantly surprised after yesterday's disaster of a crisp, let's put it that way. These are so good. These are so good. They taste like a nacho. Not like super cheesy, but enough that it balances out the spice with the jalapeno. These are definitely a favourite. See, it says 2 out of 3 chilies on here. So I'm assuming, because they were super spicy, but you got the taste of the jalapeno. So I would be guessing that as you eat more and more, like the heat and the spice builds up, which is lovely. I love that in a crisp. It's a winning combination. I mean, of course, it was always going to be, wasn't it? I think I'll give these an 8 out of 10. They are pretty good. Definitely up there. I'm very happy with those ones. On to day 6. Day 6, and today we have Iberian ham flavour. They sound pretty good. I'm guessing it'd be like a bacony sort of flavour. I'm guessing. I'm hoping. Quite excited. There we go, guys. I had to cut them. These were incredibly hard to open. Right. They don't smell like a bacon crisp from here. They smell less smoky than a smoky bacon crisp here, but they do have that of like bacony smell. They're just little flat ones. They smell a bit smokier individually. Still not the same levels as like what we would have here. Let's try it. Those are a good one. They taste pretty much exactly the same as they smell, to be fair. It is what I expected too. Like, it's not super smoky of a flavour, but it does have that bacony thing going on. They're pretty good. I think I'm going to give these a 7.5 out of 10. Pretty good. I think I'm going to quite enjoy these, really. So, yeah, on to day 7. Day 7, and we are now officially 1 week in to our advent calendar, and of course December. So for our 1 week special, we have a pigs in blanket flavour. Now, I'm not too sure how to feel about these. I like a pigs in blanket, but I'm a bit concerned how they're going to taste in a crisp. I don't know how well it's going to come across, and I don't know if it's going to taste too good, but fingers crossed, as usual, of course. Let's get into it. Got them into it. Interesting. They don't smell like merch. I suppose they smell a little bit meaty, but it's not super strong of a smell, which does not bode well for the taste. But the taste test is the most important test, as we can see from all of our previous days so far. Let's have a try, shall we? Here we are. They still don't smell too strong. I mean, in the pack and individually, you can't smell a lot. Oh dear. Let's have a try. I think I'm gonna have to go in for a second. They taste a little bit like burnt bacon. Not the best, to be honest. That's very interesting. I'm glad they tasted like something. Definitely. In comparison to the smell at least. But it's quite unfortunate that they don't taste the best. And you'd think, again, that something like this would be a lot stronger. And a lot more of the smokiness and anything really like that. On the package it says with beechwood smoked British bacon. So again, they're alluding to a smoky flavour on the packaging, but there's not really that when you're actually eating it. It's quite surprising, really. A little disappointing too, I must say. I'm going to be giving these ones a 4 out of 10. They do taste okay, but there's not a lot going on. Just kind of burnt bacon taste, which is not the best. So yeah, disappointed in this one today, guys. Each to their own, I suppose, but on to day 8. Day 8 of our advent calendar, and today we have black truffle. I'm not too sure what to expect with these, to be quite honest. Never had a truffle, never had a truffle flavoured crisp. I'm excited to try them, so let's not hesitate. Let's get one open here. Look kind of just plain. That is an interesting smell. They smell like muddy mushrooms. I'm not too sure how to feel about that, guys. I'm a bit worried, I can't lie. I suppose let's just try them then, eh? Just got a small one. No, those are not for me. They don't taste like a lot, but what they do taste of is not that nice. It tastes how it smells, like muddy mushrooms, really. A bit salty. These are not for me, guys. These are not for me. Shall not be getting these again. I really do not like them. I'm gonna have to go for like a 1.5. Just because they've got some flavour that maybe someone will like. It's just not for me. On to day 9. Day 9, and today we have beef Wellington flavour. This, I think, is going to be quite interesting. It says, with savoury button mushrooms and garlic too. Really hoping it will taste good together. Here we are. They smell quite nice. They smell meaty, definitely. You can kind of smell a hint of garlic. Not super strong compared to the meat smell. Let's get into them. Here we are, back to ridged today. You can still smell the meat, but it's not as strong. I mean, obviously. Hopefully it's good. Let's eat. Those are quite nice. I quite like them. They're definitely meaty. Taste like meat is like very juicy. You don't get too much mushroom, which is good. I'm not the biggest fan of mushroom, as we found out from the truffle ones. And not too much of the garlic either. There's still a little hint of it in the back, so it's still there. I quite enjoy these. I'm pleasantly surprised, as they say. I'm going to give these a 7 out of 10. These, pretty good. There could be more of the garlickiness for me, but I really enjoy these. On to day 10. Day 10 of our advent calendar, and today we have cured cheese. This sounds pretty interesting. As we've discussed before, I'm a cheese fan. I'm really, really hoping that these are going to be nice. Here we are. Ooh, they smell like a mini cheddar. I love a mini cheddar. I'm thinking these are going to be pretty high up on our list. Let's go. Here we are. Even individually they smell so cheesy. That is amazing. They really smell like mini cheddars. Okay. They taste amazing. These are very good. They taste cheesy. They taste salty. They're everything you could want in a crisp, really. I'm going to give these a 9.5 out of 10. On to day 11. Day 11, and today we have honey and butter flavour Pringles. These are going to be very interesting. So let's go. Whoa! Look at that! They come in a little tray. Well, that's so cool. That is genius. Right. They do smell like melted butter. Interesting. Oh my gosh, they're tiny. Look how small that is. That's adorable. These are definitely not the same like size as Pringles. They're the same sort of shape, a bit less curvy. So yeah, let's go. Those are really tasty. They're so weird, but they're tasty. They're really nice. At first taste, they're like super sweet, like the honey. And then when you eat them, they go into that like buttery, salty, like creamy sort of flavour. Those are actually really good. I'm really surprised by that. That is amazing. Just for how out there they are and for how good they actually taste. These are going to be an 8.5. But yeah, wow. On to day 12. Day 12, and today we have pizza flavour. Now, these are French, so I'm not exactly sure what that says. However, the picture says pizza, and that says pizza. So, I'm quite excited, to be honest. I've not really had a pizza flavour crisp, not that I can think of, like, ever. So, I'm quite excited. This is going to be interesting. So, fingers crossed it's nice. Let's go. Here we are. Looking very orangey. Interesting. Okay. You can definitely smell the tomato sauce of like a pizza. They smell really good. Here we are. They smell herby too. Yeah, they smell really nice. They do smell like a freshly baked pizza. I'm very excited. Here we are. They do very much so taste like pizza. They've got the tomatoiness of the sauce and like the herbs within that too. It's really nice. It tastes more mild than it smells, but I think that's kind of a good thing, to be honest. They really work. They're nice. As for our rating, I'm going to go with a 7.5. They are really nice, to be honest. On to day 13. Day 13, and today we have baked camembert and hot honey. As we've seen previously, I'm a big fan of cheese and a very big fan of camembert. So I'm thinking with the combination of the hot honey, we're probably gonna get another 10 out of 10, hopefully. Let's go. Here we are. Nothing too remarkable about the looks of them. They smell cheesy. I'm not getting honey particularly. Here we are. See, individually, you can definitely get the cheesiness. You also can smell a bit of that spicy hotness from the hot honey. I'm quite hopeful for these, really. Let's go. Very unfortunately, they do not taste like much. They are really not the most flavourful crisps. You can taste a bit of the cheesy and a little hint of spice, but they're not super flavourful. They're a very mild flavour. That's quite disappointing. As for a rating, I think the highest I can give them is a 4. What little flavour they have is nice, but I just wish they had kicked up the intensity of those flavours more. If they had done that, it could have easily been an 8, a 9 or a 10, but the fact is they just don't taste like a lot. On to day 14. Day 14, and today we have sparkling wine flavour. Now, these are non-alcoholic. They don't have any actual wine in them. They just have the flavour of them. So I'm quite excited. These are going to be interesting. I've had a similar crisp to this before. It was sparkling wine and cheese. So I'm hoping it's kind of similar to that because I did quite enjoy them before. So yeah, let's get into them. Here we are. They don't smell like too much. They kind of smell just like a ready salted sort of plain crisp. They do smell a little bit sweet, but still just quite plain. Here we are. Individually, they do smell sweeter and fruitier as well, which does make sense with the wine flavour. So I'm hoping that these will be quite good. Let's go. They taste very much like a Prosecco. They're a very fruity sort of aftertaste. They're very nice. They're still savoury, but they have a sweeter, fruitier undertone to them. They're quite enjoyable. They're quite nice. Definitely very interesting. For a rating, I'm going to give these a 6.5. They're not my favourite, but they're not terrible. I do think they could be a bit more savoury for me personally, but I do quite enjoy the fruitier undertones. It's quite interesting. It's different. On to day 15. Day 15, and today we have grilled chorizo flavour. Now, I'm quite excited for these. I'm quite a big fan of chorizo, and those kinds of cured meats and stuff. I love a charcuterie board, and even in like a sandwich and things, quite nice. So I'm really hoping that these are going to be nice as well. So let's not hesitate, let's get into it. Here we are. Ooh. They smell quite smoky and like they're filled with spices. It smells like paprika and those sorts of like smokier spices and flavours. So I'm thinking these are going to be pretty good based off the smell. Here we are. Ooh. Individually they smell even smokier than in the packet. They smell quite like a deep flavour, a very well rounded, spicy, smoky flavour. Let's go. These are amazing, honestly. They have a lovely depth to them with the smokiness and the richness of the flavours as well. They're not a super meaty crisp, which I quite enjoy because they're more focused on the spices and the herbs and those sorts of flavours rather than the meat, which takes more of a back seat in these. I really enjoy these. I'm so pleasantly surprised, honestly. I think these are going to be our second 10 out of 10 on to day 16. Day 16, and today we have camembert, onion and red wine chutney flavour. This combination sounds quite nice, to be fair. I'm a big fan of all of these components individually, so I'm hoping that together and put into a crisp, it'll be nice. Fingers crossed. Let's go. Here we are. Ooh, they smell really nice, they do. They smell sweet and they smell salty and vinegary almost, which is really nice. Quite expected because of the chutney and the onion flavours too. They smell really good. Now the packet also says with sweet paprika and cumin, and you can definitely get that paprika coming through with the sweetness and also like just a little bit of spice, just a little hint of spice. Let's go. These are delicious. Wow. They start off very cheesy and then slowly work into more of a sweeter, more acidic taste. These are really nice. Wow. I definitely really enjoy these. It's a very nice combination of flavours. They all work really well together. As for a rating, I'm going to go with a 9. They're really delicious. I do think they are missing a little bit of something though. I'm not too sure what, but they could definitely do with a little bit extra. Maybe a bit extra of that smoky paprika flavour. But other than that, these are a really delicious crisp. On to day 17. Day 17, and today we have fried egg flavour. Now guys, these are the crisps I have been most excited and most nervous for this whole time. I think they're probably the weirdest flavour we've got out of the entire advent calendar, so I'm very excited to try these and see how they taste. I mean, hopefully they taste nice, but I honestly have no clue. So let's get into it, I guess. Right, we've got the bag open here. Okay, they don't smell like a lot. Oh, never mind. I've just gone in for a second smell and I take it back. You can definitely get that eggy smell. That is strange. Here we are. Oh my gosh. Yeah, individually they smell a lot more eggy. Oh my gosh. I guess here we go. Okay, I'm very confused. I cannot tell if I like them or not. They taste insanely like fried egg. They have that very distinct egg taste in your mouth that is so weird. I don't know if I like them. They really hit you in the face. They're very strong in the egg taste. I honestly don't even know what to rate these. That is so weird. I feel like I'm gonna have to give them a 5. It's slap bang in the middle, and I feel like these crisps are slap bang in the middle. I can't quite tell if I like them or not. Very interesting day today. Yeah, on to day 18.
Editor Lily here. After having about a handful of these crisps and letting my family try them, I'm amending my rating to a 1 out of 10. They're horrible and I cannot eat the rest of them. Don't know what I was thinking giving these a 5, they taste like bars.
Day 18, and today we have a maple bacon flavour combo mix. So this is just a bunch of different shapes, all maple bacon flavour, just in different fun shapes. Not really sure what to expect with these, to be honest. I don't think I've really seen a maple bacon flavour crisp before, so it's going to be interesting to find out. So let's have a go. Here we are. Got all different funky shapes in there. They smell quite nice. Not super meaty, but still quite a strong flavour. A little bit of sweetness, quite a bit of smokiness, almost like a barbecue sauce sort of smell, which could be quite nice. We'll have to find out. For starters, I'm going to go with this little ridged square. Next, we have a little wheel. Third, we've got a little tube. And last but not least, we have a flower sort of shape. These are really delicious. They do kind of taste like bacon. It's not super strong, but I kind of prefer that. They're a little bit sweet, they're a little bit smoky, and they taste exactly like they smell, like almost like a sweet barbecue glaze sort of taste. They're really delicious, and I do quite like the assortment of shapes and textures. It's quite fun, really. For a rating, I'm going to give these a 9. I think they're really delicious and a really nice flavour. I do quite enjoy these. So yeah, on to day 19. Day 19, and today we have curry sauce flavour. I'm not too sure what to expect of these, to be honest. I'm quite excited to try them though, so I suppose let's just go into it. Here we are. They do smell very strongly of curry powder, turmeric, those kinds of spices. They do smell quite nice. Here we are. They smell like a really nice curry base. Here we are, let's go. These are really nice. They taste like curry sauce you'd get from like a chippy. They're very flavourful. Really quite like them. You definitely get all of those like traditional sort of spices that would be in a curry or a curry sauce. They're really nice. As for a rating, I think I'm going to go with an 8 for these. I kind of wish there was a little hint of spice somewhere. But other than that, these are really nice, guys, honestly. On to day 20. Day 20, and today we have duck and spiced plum flavour. I'm not too sure how to feel about this. It sounds interesting. It could go one of two ways. It could be either really, really nice or really, really horrible. So let's get into it and find out. Here we are. They smell like the crispy duck, like aromatic duck pancake sort of thing that you'd get from a Chinese. They do smell quite nice. It says on the bag here as well, with aromatic cinnamon and ginger. You can definitely get that through the smell. You can definitely get those aromatics, the spices. It smells quite nice. So, here we go. These crisps are quite nice. They mostly taste like the spices within it, but you do get a small hint of that like duck sort of flavour. It's quite nice. It's not too overpowering compared to like the spiced plum and the aromatics and stuff. I do quite enjoy them. They're pretty nice. As for a rating, I think I'm going to go with a 7 for these. I do think they could have upped the flavour levels just a little bit, but apart from that, they are a really nice crisp. They don't taste horrible. On to day 21. Day 21, and today we have garlic aioli. Much like many of the other crisps, these could go one of two ways. They could either be very delicious or very horrendous. So I'm just hoping that they are going to be good. So let's go. Here we are. I don't even have to properly sniff these to get the smell of them. They are very much garlic in your face. Here we are. The smell is just as strong individually, so could be quite interesting. Here we go. They are a very pungent crisp, both in smell and flavour. They do taste quite nice. I do quite enjoy them, really. For a rating, I'm going to give these a 7.5. I think they're very delicious and the garlic flavour is very prominent, but I've knocked a couple points off just because they will definitely make your breath stink. So yeah, on to day 22. Day 22, and today we have honey mustard. I'm thinking these are going to be quite nice. I very much enjoy a honey mustard sauce. So yeah, let's go. Here we are. They smell quite plain. They don't smell like a honey mustard sauce really. Individually, you can definitely get more of that sweetness and that honey mustard smell. Let's try them. They definitely taste like a honey mustard, but they almost taste as if the honey flavour and the mustard flavour are separated as opposed to combined within a sauce. The flavours almost come at different times as you're eating them. For a rating, I'm going to go with a 6.5. I do think they're quite delicious, but as I say, just the flavours being separated, I don't mind, but I would have preferred them being a bit more cohesive. On to day 23. Day 23, and today we have sticky glazed pork. I'm quite excited for these, let's get into them. Here we are. They do smell very barbecuey and they do smell very nice, so I'm very excited. Individually, you can get a lot more of that smokiness coming through, which I'm kind of hopeful for. Let's go. These are definitely not as strong as the smell. They do have some of that sweetness and a little bit of the smokiness, but overall they kind of do taste more like a traditional sort of barbecue flavour crisp. In terms of a rating, I think I'm going to go for a 6 for these. Like I said, they don't taste like too much, but what they do taste of is quite nice. So yeah, on to day 24. It's day 24 and it is our final day of Advent today. I have one last very interesting crisp. Here it is. We have Santa's Secret Flavour. Obviously, these are a limited edition. They're a secret flavour, so they don't have any sort of hint as to what it could be on here. So I'm very excited to try these. So let's go. They don't smell like a lot. I'm taking a guess it's probably like a Christmas dinner-y sort of flavour. There's definitely some meat. I'm thinking gravy probably. So let's just try them and find out, eh? I'm really not sure what these taste like. They taste okay. Almost like a very dulled down sour cream and onion, but if you mixed them with a dulled down Texas barbecue. For our final day of Advent, that is very interesting. I guess I'm gonna have to give these a 5. I like them, but I can't tell what the flavour is. That is very interesting, guys. Well, I hope you've enjoyed opening my advent calendar with me. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end, if you're here still. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and leave us a like and comment down below which flavour you think you'd enjoy the most. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!